Hello and welcome to this quick tips video. We've got 5 tips to share and hopefully improve your painting experience. These tips are aimed at beginners and hopefully they help. So tip number 1 is a spirit level. Yes, you've probably heard of them. If you haven't, you use these to level off things. So we use them to level off our easel. Yes, of course. Put it on the easel, check the bubble, make sure it's in the middle, and then happy days. And it makes it perfect then. If you've got a straight level easel, it makes it easier to get a level horizon line when you're doing your magnificent seascape paintings. So yes, tip number 1, use a spirit level. Tip number 2 is, this is a bit of a weird tip, I bet no one has ever shown this one. Easels are not really made for lots of sizes of canvases. I always find that they're restricted in some way, and this wooden easel is no different. It's got restrictions with like this barrier here, so as it comes down it gets stuck, although it's stuck anyway because it's been used so much, but there we go, it's stuck. Now I can't stop this painting from moving around, and I'm going to have to use all, I don't know, blue tack, sellotape. What can I use to stop it? Well, if you've got another canvas, I mean you don't specifically need it this size, it could be any size, then you put your other canvas on top. And there we go. And if you leave it in its plastic, the other canvas, then you can wipe it if you so need. And then when you do your next painting, you don't get whatever's underneath on that painting. So yeah, it's a quick tip on making your painting stable and not having to mess around with your easel too much. Tip number 3 is gessoing your canvases. Yes, I always gesso my canvas because it creates a really good surface for my oil paint to adhere to, and that's all I want. I want a good surface that my paint can flow and be happy on the surface. If you don't gesso and you buy in pre-primed canvases and just use it straight out of the packet, you're going to have some problems because the oil can sort of soak into the canvas and it starts dragging and you can't move the paint around as well. It becomes a bit of a nightmare, and I talk from experience. I've done this. So if you gesso your canvas, you're less likely to run into that horrible problem. Tip number 4, which pretty much goes with tip number 3, is if you prime your canvas with gesso, specifically grey gesso, which is just a mixture of white and black, then you can use your piece of chalk, which to me is a masterpiece of art materials and probably the cheapest that you can buy, and that's because whatever you're painting or going to draw, whatever you're painting I should say, you can draw onto the canvas, and then you can use that design that you've drawn to do your painting. So you can do some fantastic, intricate drawings using the chalk and then paint on top of it, and it's such a forgiving material. It shocks me that people aren't using it. So yeah, get some chalk. It's cheap. Tip number 5 is I do not use any paint thinners, turpentine, or anything that's hazardous to my health when I paint with oils. Yes, you've heard it from me, I don't use it because it's going to ruin your lungs. It's dangerous. Why would you use it? I don't get it. Why are people still using it? So, if you use some oil, so in there there's some linseed oil and some clove oil. Clove oil or bud oil. You can get that from health food stores, and you blob the clove oil in with your linseed oil, and then it stops the linseed oil from drying out. So what you have then is an area where you can put your brushes in, and your brushes never dry. And then to clean your brushes, you just pull them out, wipe them on a paper towel, and you're good to go, really. I mean, if, say, you was doing a sky, you could pull your brush out, give it a wipe on a paper towel or an old rag, and then mix it with some blue, and then wipe it out again, and then use it. It works really well, it really does. You don't need paint thinners or turbs or anything like that. So bonus tip, actually, number 6, because the process of painting will make things a bit different, because the reason I say you don't need paint thinners and everything is because I never use them. And the reason is, if you paint thinly to start with, if you're doing like a base coat, say this yellow, a yellowy, oily colour, if you was painting this and you wanted a mid-tone, and you paint quite thin, so when you put in your lights or your darks, you can put it on top and it's not affected badly. And if you scrub it on thin, it's just like using, say, a paint thinner and mixing the colour and putting it on. Then the paint thinner evaporates, leaving just the paint. You just have to scrub a little bit. So that's just a little bonus tip. I wasn't going to say that one, but it kind of goes in with not using paint thinner. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed these tips. Turned out to be 6 tips, but I hope it helps you out and makes painting more fun for you. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you at another episode. Cheers, bye.